Hi everyone, welcome back to Live Darts. We are here at Alexandra Palace still. The first stint is almost done and dusted, and we've got Peter Citera from the CDC, one of the founding members, over here to support the American contingent before you go home for Christmas. First of all, Peter, have you enjoyed your Alexandra Palace experience?
I'll tell you, there's nothing like it in the world. It's an amazing, amazing experience. And as you know, after 10 or 11 days, it gets to be a bit much. But yeah, I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's amazing.
First of all, Danny Baggish, probably the standout of the American contingent, because the manner in what he played was nothing short of sensational.
Absolutely. Danny's a special player. He has the ability to score with anybody in the world, and I think you saw some of that come out with the match against Nathan. It was, his first match was kind of a little shaky on both sides. That's going to happen, right? But yeah, the second round match, when he's comfortable on that stage, he played to the crowd and he shot amazing. And I know the scoreline was 3-1, but if you look at the stats, I mean, they were right next to each other the entire way. It was a great match to watch.
It's almost got under the radar as well that Darren Young ended Raymond van Barneveld's professional career because of the way Danny played.
Yes, and talking about Darren Young, the man has been around the game so long. He's been a friend of mine for many years. Nobody can ever take that away from him, right? He will always be the guy that ended Raymond van Barneveld's career, and that's an amazing moment in his career. But looking at his second round match, he had a shot at the double. I mean, he had everything you could ask for to try to advance to the third round, and all the credit to him. He played his butt off, and we really, really are excited about that.
Darts as well has been put on the front and the back pages of the sport due to a certain young lady called Fallon Sherrock.
Absolutely.
And she's even made news on the other side of the pond as well, which is remarkable for a darts player. I'm not going to say female because that's wrong. A darts player to make the news that she has.
Amen to that. Now, I think the gender thing, it has to come into play, right? I mean, that's part of the sensation. But you're exactly right. She is a world-class darts player. She showed that in her last two matches. The match yesterday was just astounding to watch. I was talking to you about this before we got together here, and when you see darts on the front page of ESPN's website, on the front page of Yahoo, USA Today picks it up, and it was in print media, it was everywhere. That's not something we're used to seeing in the States. That's going to be amazing for darts, in the States and North America in general.
North American darts on the CDC. Are we now seeing the produce of that? The fact we've got Danny Baggish over here competing, and I know when I come to Vegas this year, the standard was unbelievable in that North American Open.
You're only going to see the standard rise, and that's been the goal of CDC since day one. We've wanted to always put the best against the best, beating each other up week after week after week. That's the only thing that's going to get us to catch up with the rest of the world. I mean, it's no secret, darts in North America has been behind. We've seen that. It's played out on stage here, but not this year. And I think that this is a beginning of something that's going to be, you're going to find us being contenders, and not only contenders, but in the mix for the next many, many years. You mentioned Darren and you mentioned Danny. One thing you didn't mention was Matt Campbell. And Matt Campbell, again, acquitted himself just amazing on that stage. Your first time on that stage, there's nothing that's going to get you ready for that. And he had his shot, he had his chances, and played very well. So he's another guy that you're going to see back. He's got some great scoring power as well.
In terms of where you wanted to be, are you ahead of schedule or on schedule?
I like to say we're 5 years into a 3-year plan. But quite honestly, the blood, sweat, and tears is finally starting to pay off. So I think, honestly, we would have liked to have seen things progress a little faster than they did. But now that they're progressing very quickly. It's like we've rolled the boulder all the way up to the top of the hill and got it over, and now you're starting to see it roll down and pick up speed, and it's amazing to watch.
You've got a great relationship with the PDC, Matt Porter, and everything. How have they helped you in this quest as well?
Well, certainly, Matt's always had some good advice for us. Having them on board really it lends legitimacy to the organization. Not that we didn't have it, but when you partner with the world-class organization, the PDC, and you get their media staff, and you get Matt, and you get some small financial backing as well, it really does tell the players this is the place to be. My partners and I, and it's not just me. We've got Anthony Eugenia, probably the best darts mind on at least in North America, if not the planet. You've got Jeff Good. You've got David Irede. His media genius is unparalleled. So So all the different parts of the plan have started to coalesce. I want to talk a little bit about our last event. We had the Continental Cup in October, and Danny Lauby won the Continental Cup. You'll see him on stage in New York. We had a ticketed audience for the first time ever for a exclusively North American event, and everybody had a wonderful time. So the PDC certainly has given us that shot I think that we needed.
Speaking of New York, as you brought it up, we're going to the Garden.
Yes.
One of the iconic sporting venues, not just for darts, iconic, and I say that with the biggest praise possible. What does that mean, not just for North American darts, but darts in general, where they're going to Madison Square Garden?
Well, let's be clear. Barry Hearn, as we all know, is a genius, and this is exactly the right decision. Not that Vegas wasn't fun; it certainly was, and I mean you were there. It was a good atmosphere. I think year one we had a really nice shot in the arm because you had a lot of people coming over here on holiday, right? They did their package deal, but that was a once in a lifetime thing, I think, for a lot of the UK people. Moving to the East Coast, not only is it a hotbed of American steel-tipped darts, but it's also an amazing draw for international people, for people from Europe, not only from Europe but from across the globe. And don't underestimate the fact the flight's 5 hours shorter. I mean that matters too.
Huge.
Yeah, it's going to be a great time. We're really excited to announce details about the qualifiers. Those will be coming out here shortly this week, I believe. So if you're a North American and you're watching this and you've always dreamed of playing on a big stage, we want to see in those qualifiers.
And you said ticket sales have gone better than Vegas at this early stage as well.
Yes. I can tell you that in the meetings I've had this week with PDC, including with Matt Porter, that they're very happy. Floor tickets are almost sold out. Now, granted, the Hulu Theater's floor is a little smaller than the Vegas event, but when we're this far in advance of an event, we're talking about selling out the floor. It's going to be real special. So again, if you're looking to get tickets, it's entirely possible that this will sell out. It's going to be great.
Touch on tickets there. I'm going to go off topic a little bit, but I remember Eddie Hearn saying something, because obviously he's taken the boxing to America, and he says it's a very different playing field in terms of tickets, where in the UK they sell out in advance, where the American audience seem to buy late. So to be that far in advance must be over the moon.
It really is. I couldn't be happier about it. Now, we hope to see some numbers, come in, some good numbers increase here as we move forward. Fallon Sherrock, I mean, we had that announcement. She's only going to help things, right? So that's going to. I'm sure we've sold, at least another couple hundred tickets just from the announcement that she's going to be on that stage.
North American darts, how long before you've got a genuinely world title contender, do you think?
Well, again, I'm talking about being, 5 years into a 3-year plan. We'd originally said we wanted to have a contender by 2022. I would be very happy if we have one by 2025. So that's the stake I'm willing to plant in the ground now. And if it happens earlier, wonderful. But certainly we're going in the right direction. I think you can all see that.
Obviously, Danny's already said he's coming over to attempt Q score and win his card. Mm-hmm. How long before you see an influx of Americans coming over to try and compete week in, week out with the best?
We had some good numbers last year. We had, Chris White was there. David Fadden's been over a number of times. I think you'll see a really good contingent coming over. Not just Danny Baggish. Danny Lauby will be there. I'm assuming Chris White. There's a lot of names that you'll see that'll come over and really try to do some damage. And again, it's not just the U.S. It's Canada as well. I spend a lot of time talking about that because I think the Canadians have felt, and possibly rightfully so, that we've kind of given them short shrift up until this year. And so we're expanding the tour this year, as you probably know, to go bigger into Canada. The PDC kind of pushed us to do that, and we think it's the right thing to do. So look for North Americans, look for U.S. players, look for Canadian players, and as you saw on this stage, anything can happen with the right game, the right draw, and you catch fire at any given time. I mean, at some point, it's a matter of time, right, before we see a PDC tour card holder from North America.
Over here, we've used the phrase with Fallon breaking the glass ceiling a lot. When does that glass ceiling get broken as well in the CDC, do you think?
I'm hoping that happens in the next year. If not next year, then the year after. Again, the talent is there, and it's coming out, and it's blossoming, and it's amazing to see. So you will, and I think I'm comfortable saying this, that you will see a North American PDC Tour card holder in the next, if not this year, within the next 24 months.
Peter, it's an absolute pleasure sitting down and talking to you for Live Darts, going through how the CDC started and where the ceiling is. Thank you very much, as always, my friend.
Thank you, Phil. I really appreciate it. We're looking forward to seeing you in New York.
Not a problem at all.
Thank you very much. Thank you all.